When the mind is looking for the I, as opposed to living out of a conditioned assumption of who I am, but instead in a very relaxed way, not driven to get somewhere or get something, but just simply the mind looking to find what is this I that seems to be driving everything. It is a very simple shift of orientation. When the mind is looking for the I, thinking thoughts becomes impossible. The mind cannot generate thinking about someone when the mind is searching for who is that someone. For most in the beginning, it is an effortful practice, but it becomes something that is so simple. In a relaxed, ease-filled way, just the orientation of mind looking for the I. And then the myth of mind is revealed. And it evaporates. And when the preoccupation with false imaginings evaporates, what is no longer obscured by attention being driven away from is the heart. The heart of being. Living the life out of a gentle orientation that looks for the I. Which eradicates illusion. And leaves your true self shining. The whole shift of orientation becomes quite effortless. becomes a priority throughout anything that is playing in an effortless way. The more consistent it becomes, the more natural it begins to feel. Because it is your true nature. The heart is your true nature. The nature of life itself. The unbounded, luminous nature of what has never been stained. Everything still carries itself out. It is only the illusion that evaporates.
It's just feeling so much reverence for this process.
Can people hear now? Okay. Feeling so much reverence for this process.
The heart opening to more love, but also to more intensity of everything. And just feeling the edges, being pushed to the edges of feeling what caused me to shut down in the first place. It's just, to come in so open and feeling everyone's everything and my everything, and it's I just can see what shut her down. And it's coming alive again. So I guess the question and what I'd like to hear you talk about is what's the relationship between this heart in the character and then the eternal heart or the one heart? Because it does feel like this heart is being opened, physically.
Yes, I can absolutely hear what you are saying.
And there's such gratitude and reverence and also, it's challenging.
When you feel the heart, that your mind is calling the heart of the individual, when you are really feeling it, in that feeling, can you find an individual? No.
Just sensation.
Yes, there is sensation. But the feeling of the heart and sensation, do they intersect? In the feeling of the heart, is there sensation in the feeling of the heart?
right now, the feeling of being is the feeling of my heart.
Yes, the feeling of being is the feeling of what you spoke is my heart. In the feeling of being, is there anything more than just the feeling of being? No, there is not. Now, simultaneously, there can be the experience of sensation. There can even be the story of me. But the movement into sensation is moving attention into a particular location. The feeling of being is locationless. It's equally everywhere. If you look for a location, you cannot find being because location is creation of mind. If you feel being, mind disappears. When you fall into the feeling of the heart fully, there is no sensation there. For most, there are two things playing most of the time at the same time, but that is only because the attention is oscillating back and forth very rapidly. It is not because two things are playing at the same time. Attention is moving away from the feeling of heart, following what is experienced in a reference point, in a location, and then it darts back. It's like a vibration. It occurs so rapidly and creates the experience that there are two things going on at the same time, which in truth are mutually exclusive. Even mutually exclusive is not quite the right language, because sensation can only be experienced when there is removal from your relationship with your heart, with your existence, with your being. Now there is grace in what is called character. It reflects what is called progress, because it is a constant reflective mechanism of the level to which you are immersed in yourself. But it is reflective. It is like someone giving an informational lecture and has an overhead projector, and he puts something, a diagram, on the overhead projector, and everybody is looking at the screen and receiving the information. But the reality is there's nothing on the screen. It is directly in front of the light in the overhead projector. Yet everyone is looking at the screen and deriving information, but in reality there's nothing at all on the screen. This is the realm of experience, everything that is in a particular location. It is beautiful that the character Trista is deepening and opening. But when you are in touch with reality, what is discovered is she appears to be, but she's not really there. But she is the grace of God offering back this constant teaching, reflecting the relative relationship you have with reality.
And the practice now is to, what you said, love yielding to itself, and when the awareness is contracted into what's all the physical stuff that's being felt. The practice is just yielding and receiving, because that seems all that, sometimes that all that can be done.
Yes, it is the highest of things. The doer is illusion. It is receiving the teaching. This process of yielding is receiving the teaching. The hypnosis begins to wear off by itself when there is the readiness to remain still. In remaining still, what this means is it means not running away and not running toward. When you are not running toward and not running away, either you are just immersed in the deep reality of the beauty of the unchanging nature of your being, or the play is playing itself in a way that is pulling attention. When that is happening, it is always in the contractive phase, bringing up challenge to conditioning, to the egoic mind. When you are receiving this, you are being still. You are not running from the offer. When you receive the offer that is given unravels something and opens you deeper into yourself. If there is one thought that is followed, interpreting, then you have fallen away from stillness and receiving. But even this is grace, because the separate one is an illusion. When that happens, it is simply a reflection, reflecting something that is not completely rooted, as opposed to somebody who is doing something wrong. And then you can receive that, and the moment it is received, what is returned to you is the unchanging nature of the still presence that you are. Receiving can only happen out of what is still.
What you said, the vibratory nature of bringing the attention back to what's changing, I can see in this process, it's wearing that, the interest in the oscillations down, so that there's just wanting to be in the stillness more, and there's a pull more to the stillness the more that the reference point gets worn down.
Yes, it is the pull of self to self. It is love magnetically drawn to itself. It is the light drawn to itself. It is pure beauty. It is your nature. The more you taste your nature, the more you are drawn to your nature. The more the illusion is seen through, the less power it has, even though at the same time everything is felt much more deeply, because all of the numbing is wearing away. But the thing about what is felt is that it is temporary. You feel the body to the degree to which you are identified as the body. The heart, your heart, which is not the heart of an individual. It is the heart of being, the omnipresent heart of being. This has no intermingling with anything perceptive. It is true the journey from forgetting to self-remembrance takes everything, brings up every challenge, but it ultimately reveals that it never took anything and there never really was a challenge. Just like there was really nothing on the screen that everybody listening to the lecture was looking at. Just an appearance. Everything that is perceived is appearance. Everything that is known by mind is appearance. All the five senses, appearance. What witnesses appearance is also appearance. Yet it has a vital role. It is an offering. The experience of separation was born out of suffering. There is the bearing of suffering in the freeing that eventually reveals that there never was suffering. But you cannot go through it until you are willing to suffer. Until you are willing. And true willingness is only this moment. It is fully imbibing the feeling and the taste of this moment.
That's where it's like I can feel like my jaw is tight and there's something that can't fully let go into feeling the totality. But I know it's a process.
Who tightens the jaw?
I don't know.
It is to look and see. It is to look for who is tightening the jaw.
God.
It is a shift of orientation from the play of phenomena to where the play of phenomena is coming from. From my jaw to looking to find what does my mean.
It disappears.
It disappears because it is appearance. Appearance appears and disappears. And then what remains? What remains? Has that been impacted at all by what has appeared and disappeared?
No.
No. What happens to the tension in the jaw? It is not gone, but it is less. Why? Because it is all a reflection of the state of awareness, a constant feedback mechanism. Now there is a much deeper taste, because there is not the hypnosis of efforting to try to get the taste. Began by speaking about the reverence for this process. If you fall into the simple feeling of the reverence, then immediately you are home. You are so welcome, sweetheart.
I'm going to listen to this one again.